This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today it's all about the different flags because there's going to be a lot of spies from all different countries that are going to be trying to manipulate and win awards. Today we're talking about City of Spies. This is from Stronghold Games. It's 2 to 4 players and it's a sort of a tactical game where you're trying to gain lots of rewards and endgame bonuses. So let's take a look. I'll show you how it's played and I'll see you on the other side. City of Spies is a game that's played over 4 different rounds. Each round, you're going to have 6 different locations that will come out. There's 8 total in the game, but 6 of them will be used randomly each round, and they'll all be randomized as to where they are and the orientation of them. Over the course of the game, you'll be playing your spies to try to have the most strength in a certain area at the end to be able to get whatever character is in the goal for that spot, but many times characters will be placed face down if it's top secret. In each game, there's 4 different endgame goals that will get you a certain amount of points if you're the one that has the most of these, and there's plenty of these, so every game will feel a little different. At the beginning of the game, every player gets 6 spies of their color, and their color is denounced here. And they all have the same, meaning all the players start with the same spies, and these are the 6 you'll be putting out over the first round, but you'll be gaining more spies as the game goes on. Now how the game works is that each player will go clockwise, placing one of their spies on the board and placing their color cube there. You'll be placing anywhere between 3 and 6 characters per round, depending if you're playing between 4 to 2 players. Now at the beginning of each round, there is a character from a big draw pile that is placed in the sort of the orange box of each of the places. Sometimes they're face up, sometimes they're face down. And this is the spy that you would win if you got this, that you'd be able to put. She'd be worth 3 points at the end of the game if it's in your hand, and she has the assassinate ability. We'll go over some of these abilities later. Also, most of the actual regions have special abilities that we'll go over in a little bit. When you place a tile, you can put it in at the beginning of the game, anywhere that's an outside area. So anything that's touching the outside, you can go to. I couldn't go to this yet because it's sort of in the inside. And if the area says top secret, you have to place it face down. If it didn't, you'd place it face up. So I might place this one face down and go like this. Now, each area actually has a special ability as well. Like this one would allow me to have looked at any of the tiles that are on this location. If I placed here, this would allow me to look at any tile on any of the locations, including this one or any adjacent one. So different abilities will trigger when you place in certain spots. Now I mentioned that you have to put on the outside first, but once you're in an outside spot, you can actually go into an inside spot. Let's say this was the edge of the boards, and I have this outside spot. You can go to inside spot if it's adjacent to one that you've already placed, so you can only get the inside spots afterwards. Now after everyone's placed all their cubes for that round, we go through and resolve. We actually go in the tile order. This is a 6 upside down. You'd actually start with the 1 tile, or the lowest one if 1's not there, and then on each tile you go in order, spot 1, 2, and 3. So let's say we've resolved the first few tiles, and we're now up to number 6. And we would do this one. Well, we would then flip over all these and resolve. Now, they're going to resolve in the order of 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you remember, this player played first. And so this player played second. When this player placed here, they got to look at any tile, any one tile on this or an adjacent location. They looked at this one knowing that this one would trigger before this one. So this player placed here face down. They looked here, they saw this player had the assassin and thought, well, this one's probably going to assassinate this guy and she might be able to take it. So on her next turn, this player put this one here. So this resolves and we resolve the ability. This ability says you can assassinate, remove any tile on this board and give it back to the player. It doesn't get discarded, it goes back to the player. So this goes back to the player. And then we would then resolve this one, which essentially is conspiracy. And that allows them to look at the top pile of the spies, look at it, and then decide which does this get replaced. Do I want this one or this one, depending on the end game goals, depending on what I'm going for. Maybe sure I wanted to replace it, so I wanted to get this person, maybe because he's worth more points, and this one would go to the bottom of the pile. And then this would resolve. I'm the only one here. We would look at whoever has the most strength. In this case, I'm the only one here, so I would get to put this in my pile that I'd be able to use on future rounds. If there's a tie between people, whoever had someone in the earliest position would get the new spy. And then at the end of the round, you'll have your 6 tiles that you started with at the end of the first round. This is the blue player, and they got this tile. This was the only one they got, let's just say. If you have more than 6, which we do, we would discard one out of the game. So depending on the goals you're going for and what you're trying to do synergy with the abilities, maybe I discard this guy because he already has the same ability, so I don't want to double it. And this guy's worth a lot more points. So this guy would go away. He would go into a discard pile. He's important. He'd still score me some points at the end of the game, but I'll show you that later. But now I have these 6 tiles going to the next round, so you're sort of engine building, getting different abilities together. And again, at the end of that round, you would take all these tiles, you'd shuffle them together, all 8 tiles, randomly place them at different orientations, different things, and you'd go again. You'd do that 3 more times for a total of 4 rounds. And then you get bonus points 6 if you had the most of all these. So this is the most characters that have sort of, say, the German flag on it. Or this one you have the most females here. Or this one you have the most one with the nationalist flags on them, like this gentleman does. Or you get 1 point, you get 1 for each of the flags. If here you have whoever has the most gets these points. If you tie with somebody, you end up splitting them, rounding them up. Those are the Endgame Goals. In addition to those bonus points, the 6 tiles that you kept at the end of the game, you'd get points for each of those. The blue player only kept 1 of his starting tiles. He upgraded a lot of his spies. You'd add up all the points on these, and those would be points. And then all the players that are in your discard pile are always just worth 1 point. Whoever has the most is the winner. Now there's 3 of the other special abilities that we didn't talk about. This one is seduction, and this means that they can pull anyone from a location tile that's adjacent with its cube into this area, into this same location. So you're trying to either thwart off something or pull someone away from a different location. She seduces them to come closer. This one is a nationalist, so this is the flag for this gentleman, and every adjacent location that has a face-up character that's not the reward tile, every one of these flags adds an additional strength to this gentleman. And then this one says you cannot be assassinated, and seduction doesn't do anything to this player. And here's 8 more endgame bonus tiles that could possibly be in the game. There's only 4 of them each game, but there's a 12 in total, the 4 I showed you before. And these ones, essentially you're getting the most of all these different things there. There's also 3 different variants to play for the bonus tiles. There's a variant where the second place gets 3 points. There's a variant where actually you take some of these and you put them face down in between each player, and at the end of the game those come up, so you have some secret goals that you and your partners, or not your partner, but the people next to you get to see that you're both just fighting for. Then there's other ones where everyone will get 1 face down as well, and then that person, everyone gets, that person would get 1 point for each of the ones there. So there's different variants of this bonuses, which gives you a different feel of the game, whether you want to be more combative with your neighbors and so on. So different ways to play the game. And as I mentioned, each of the locations has a special ability. For example, this location, nobody can be assassinated at the church. At this hotel, essentially, every person that has a British flag has +1 strength. In this one, it's the beach, and there's no top secrets. Everyone goes face up in this one. In this one here, any of the German characters get +1 strength in this hotel. In here, so every spot is considered an outer spot, meaning you can go there right away as your first move. And this one's the casino. You roll 2 dice for every character. The difference in dice you add to that character's strength. Sort of a randomized thing. Here's, if you go here, the person with the lowest character strength removes one of their characters out of the game completely. And this one has 4 spots. It's an additional one. Anyone goes here can look at any tile on the board. Well, there is City of Spies. Now, this game has a lot that I did like about it. I like the theme. I love spy themes anyways, but you have very easy things to do on your turn, meaning the mechanisms of this are very streamlined and very easy. You're literally just placing a tile somewhere on the outside, putting a cube on it, next player's turn. Then when it comes back to you, you can push another guy on the outside or an inside that's adjacent to one somebody already placed. You're done. I mean, it's very quick and easy. The mechanisms are easy, but when you play somebody, sometimes you'll be peeking at somebody else. And then once things start resolving, there's all these different things to think about. Even though the mechanisms are easy, there's a ton to have your brain chew on. Where am I going? What's the locations? Who else is there? Where is this location? What number is it? When is it going to trigger? Where am I in that location? Am I first, second, or third? So it's really interesting because all these abilities that you have may or may not be useful depending on where you are, when it triggers, what you're on, what's already triggered, what has yet to trigger. Lots of things of timing. You have the different abilities where, hey, I'm going to play the seduction and pull somebody over here, but I might not know who anybody is because this is the first tile, and different things like that. So even though the mechanisms are simple, there's a lot to think about, and I like that about the game. I like that the different tiles also have different abilities. You get the casino where you're rolling dice. You get the church where no one can be assassinated. You got all these different tiles that have the location tiles that have different special abilities as well. So it is a simple game mechanically, but there's layer upon layer upon layer of decisions to be made that are tough decisions. When to go, where to go, what are you going after, screwing people's rewards up. And then the harsh decision always is, what do you discard down to at the end of the round? You look at all these things like, should I give up the 3-point guy? He doesn't have anything that's any of the endgame goals, and I'm working on this other thing that I could have, but this guy only has 1 point, and you're like really trying to say, do I have this wrapped up for the bonus, or do I need to just really go for it and throw away extra points to do that? Wow, tough decisions everywhere you go in this game. Again, simple mechanisms, but pretty deep. Now, the people that I think who probably might want to stay away from the game are ones that don't like the very here and now tactical style games, and games on where your plans are going to get messed up. Your plans are totally going to get messed up in this game. You think you're going to do one thing, and when that round's over, you just, more often than not, your plans are going to get thwarted. And if you don't like that, then this is not going to be the game for you. But if you don't mind a little bit of chaoticness there, but you like to be able to combo things around, then this is going to be one that you're going to want to check out, and that's City of Spies.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for backing me on Kickstarter, making this season become a reality. I'd like to especially thank those here that have backed me at the credit level. Now, these video reviews are also available by audio on our podcast. It's the intros and the final thoughts on GameBoyGeek.com. Click podcast.